Good morning, it's Tess, and today's tip is 418. And I'm just saying, own it, read it, and then take action. And the reason I'm saying that is I've shared this in one of my groups. And some years ago, I worked in a bookstore. And while I worked in the bookstore, I was what they called the two-bagger. I never left the store without 2 bags full. And at some point in time, someone pointed out to me gently that owning the book wasn't enough. You had to read the book. Well, I've been thinking about that idea recently, and what I realized is buying the book isn't enough. Reading the book isn't enough. You got to take that third and final step, which is action. You have to do something with what you're learning. And it kind of reminded me, what made me start thinking about this is that last weekend when Doc V was live, he had on, he talked about like the 5 hindrances and what causes us not to take that last step, which is action. You know, in the beginning, years ago, I kept accumulating the books, but then I kept myself so busy I didn't find the time to read it. I've been even learning tips along the way on how to do a better job of reading. I use audio books along with a hard copy book because it keeps me directional and moving forward. I tend to be a perfectionist, so I could reread the same page multiple times. Well, then I started thinking about it. Owning it and then reading it just isn't enough. It's the steps that you take after you obtain that new information. So in thinking about that and the 5 hindrances Dr. V talked about this weekend, I wanted to kind of share, and this is like a reminder to me, that the 5 hindrances are a big thing. They are basically the only 5 hindrances, because what he talked about in the talk is that we try to blame outside sources. And we all know that the only person who can make a change is us. It's an inside job. It's something we have to do ourselves. So the first thing we have to do is eliminate. It's not your daughter's fault. It's not your son's fault. It's not your husband's fault. It's not your neighbor's fault. It's not your parents' fault. If you want to change, it's an inside job. Once you get to that point and you understand it's an inside job, it gets a little bit easier because there are only 5 things that cause you not to take the action on the inside. And the first one they were talking about is, the first one is what you like. And what is the actual word they called it? They call it sensual desire. And basically what it amounts to is making decisions. Like in my case, I absolutely loved ice cream pre-surgical. I don't eat it at all anymore. For me, it's a non-negotiable. I can't eat it, so I just simply don't. That did cause me problems prior to making the decision not to eat it, because I would eat it and then I'd feel guilty and I'd eat more of it to try to make it go away, and it just became a revolving circle. So the first thing of the 5 hindrances that are the inside job we have to work on is recognizing where our preferences and our desires are blocking us from moving forward. And do we want to move forward bad enough to change that desire? And that in this talk, the 5 hindrances, they referred to that as sensual desire. It's that thing that you absolutely love and you're not willing to get rid of. At the point that you're not willing to get rid of it, you've made the choice that you don't want to lose weight or improve your life. The second one is they're calling it ill will. And the reason they're calling it ill will is it's that idea that I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. I'm not going to eat green smoothies. I'm not going to drink water. And we all grab onto the things that we don't want. Like I remember, there's certain things I like. So, like the idea of all protein, nonstop protein, I don't need fruits and vegetables. I just need protein. But a lot of things, well balanced is your best choice. And I had to kind of come to terms with I actually went to the point of eating a food and seeing how it made my body feel. That's how my mind finally got around eating the things that made me feel good, because it allowed my brain to be sharper. It allowed me to be sharper. It made me feel better. And so that was kind of a way that I went into it. Instead of deciding I don't like something, realizing that at this point in my life, I might like something. That might be the greatest gift of bariatric surgery, as my bariatric team pushed that your taste buds will constantly change as you go through the journey. Like some people didn't like certain flavors immediately after surgery. As their stomach started to heal, they liked them better. I almost think of it as like as a child, there are certain things that the flavors are too strong as they're first coming up. And then as they get older and more mature, and Dr. V calls our little tummy after bariatric surgery a baby tummy. And I kind of think that is a true thing, in that it's been damaged and it's healing. And because it's healing, there are certain things like I loved pickles, but I couldn't eat them because the vinegar was too tough. Now, over some time, my stomach seasoned and it became more mature and I could handle the pickles or certain flavors. So I think the best gift we can give ourselves is to be open to the idea of trying new things, realizing that we are in a position to change everything that we liked if we're just open to changing what we like. The third one is every bariatric, every overweight person in the world, slosh and torpor, S-L-O-S-H, and torpor, T-O-R-P-A. And really that is kind of the result of living in sensual desire, meaning eating everything you want whenever you want, not caring the consequences or not making the changes. And slow body and slow mind just means that you're sleepy, you're depressed, you're not driven to make changes. It's hard to do anything because your mind is not sharp and neither is your body. Those are kind of unique words, so I'm going to keep them in mind because in identifying the foods that made me feel better, I realized that I lived a lot of my life in slush and torpor. I had slow mind, I had slow body. I felt like I was a victim to it. I didn't realize I could change it. And once I realized I could change it, it made a huge difference in everything that happened in my life. The fourth one is restlessness, and it's not living in the now. It's either living in the past or living in the future. I did a lot of that in the past. I was always planning for tomorrow. And I've talked before about analysis paralysis. I did so much planning for the future that I never took the step forward. So that living in the now and taking a step now and knowing that tomorrow you've probably analyzed so often that you're going to come up with a solution if you need it. The most important thing is taking the step. I did live in that place. So I guess I actually owned and lived by all 5 of these hindrances, which is probably why it was so hard and I had such a long path to come down. The fifth one, and I had this one too, skeptical doubt. This one was hard, and I'm so glad for the mentors that I've met in the past couple of years. And maybe that I was isolated, so I was able to kind of consume the material so that I could actually make changes. Skeptical doubt, indecisiveness. Can I? Will I? Will I be able to? Am I going to get embarrassed? What if this happens? What if that happens? That kind of put me into that analysis paralysis. So it again goes back to the try to get yourself in a place of feeling good. Trust that you have the knowledge and the experience. Take a step forward and trust and know that once you take that step forward, if it's slightly off, you can adjust. But it's a whole lot better to be going down the road than to be stuck. So I thought this was important. For me, it just kind of went back to that idea that it was the joke. I used to buy the books. Well, buying the book isn't enough. You got to read it. Well, not only do you have to read it, you take a step. And then that's where these 5 hindrances came in. If once you identify that you need to change, you have to remember anything outside is not where the problem is. It's inside. And the 5 things inside that cause you not to make changes are 1, what they term sensual desire, which is those things that you passionately think you like and you're not willing to give up. Own that it's something you're not willing to give up, and that's why you're not succeeding. You're not a victim. You've made the choice. Then the other one is ill will, which is the opposite end of it. I don't like, I don't want, I'm not going to learn to like, I don't like green smoothies, I don't like water, I don't. That again is a choice. You've decided you're not open to it, and you've created the second hindrance. The third one is that slush and torpor, which is basically because you're not willing to make the changes, because you're not trying to improve your body, you have a sleepy, depressed, lack of ability to make improvements because your body's slow and your mind's slow. So it is self-imposed. The fourth one was restlessness, and that's not living in the now. I was also guilty of that one. I was always planning for the future and never taking the step. You have to take the step and know and trust that the right information will come to you, keeping yourself in a place of feeling good so that you have the confidence to take those steps. Keep yourself moving forward. It's a lot easier to be moving down the road and just adjust as you go than to try to plan out 25, 30, 40 years and think that you're going to ever make progress if you stay stuck trying to plan 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Take the step and keep, it's a living plan. Just keep adjusting as you go. And then the fifth one is skeptical doubt. And I'm grateful to Doc V, to Chris Noggle, to Zara Mahoon. These are the groups that I've spent a lot of time with in the past couple of years because they were patient enough to present materials in multiple ways that allowed me to open myself up to doing things differently. And I will say that I do things very differently today, and I suspect that I'll be doing them very different tomorrow. I understand now, and I'm embracing and becoming very curious about what changes I can make. So I hope that you find this useful. Remember, if you own the book, that's not enough, you got to read it. And if you've read the book, that's not enough, you got to take steps. The hindrances that are blocking us, it's never outside, it's always inside. And the inside hindrances are that absolute, I got to have it, I'm not willing to give it up, or the I absolutely hate it and I'm not willing to try it, or that slosh and torpor, which is as a result of not making changes, your body and your mind are sluggish and slow. It can be depression. The fourth one is restlessness, and that they kind of refer to as you're stuck way far in the future or way far in the past. You're never living today, so you're not making forward motion. And the last one, I already forgot already. The last one, so we were talking about future and past. I'll think of it later. Maybe it's right here quick. Can I get to it quickly in my little notebook? My trusty notebook. Number 5. Okay, so number 1 was the loves that we're not willing to give up. Number 2 is the things we hate we're not willing to try. Number 3 is that slosh and torpor, which is the things that it's the result, I kind of think. If you're not willing to eat the things that make your body feel good, you get stuck in that slow mind, slow body. The 4th one was not living in the present moment. And the 5th one was the skeptical doubt. And the skeptical doubt is that, can I, will I, do I have the right information? Am I going to fail? We just got to take those steps. So it is always an inside job, and the job feels a lot better, and it's hopeful and it's excited when you keep yourself in that place of feeling good. Know it's an inside job. Know that you've got plenty of resources around you to help you. Get curious, jump in, and make the most of this life. Have a beautiful day, and thank you for being here. Bye-bye.